Very warm good evening to all. Today's topic is about remission. We all know that a criminal trial comes to an end once a person is convicted. The person whom throughout the trial call accused becomes a convict. Once he is convicted, he goes in jail. Once he goes in jail, then the complete hope of his coming back to the society is almost nowhere according to his family. But when as a lawyer we know that there are provisions in CRPC, also in the constitution, that we can always bring back that person to the normal society, provided the basic morally two conditions I would say here, that that person has actually reformed, one, and number two, he is ready to be reintegrated in the society. कि हिंदी में ऐसे कहेंगे कि उसको फिर से समाज में रख सकता है, जैसे खूनी है, रेपिस्ट है, we cannot keep that person in the society because it is an offense against the society. But there are provisions in the criminal procedure code, there are provisions in the constitution of the India that this person can always be called back to the society. The basic condition which I said, that he is reformed, that should be the attitude of the or it can be judged that he is actually reformed, and that depends on the jail authorities report. Now, jail authorities report is not completely sometime probable, I would say perfect, or sometime there may be a possibility that a person petitioner feels that this jail authorities report is not favoring him in spite of he being of having a good behavior in the jail. Then the matter goes to the court, and then the CRPC comes into place. So powers of remissions are constitutional as well as the statutory powers. In both ways, these powers can be used. Under Constitution, everybody knows that under Article 72, the President has got a power to pardon, to remit the whatever the sentence, or to reduce it. Even under the statutory powers, I would say, and the at the central level, the president, and at the state level, the governor will have the power under Article 161 to pardon remit. And there are statutory powers, that is CRPs under CRPC, which we are going to discuss today. And there is a complete chapter which is devoted to this part of the remission, commutation, suspension, and sometimes withdrawal of the charges, also withdrawal of the punishment also. Now, first section we would go is section 432 of CRPC. Now, this section says the government has the power, appropriate government has the power. Now, we call it appropriate government. It may be state government or central government, which has got power to remit the sentence. Now, another section is 433, which is about the power to commute. Now, the difference between the remission and commutation. In remission, the character of the punishment is always remains same. If it is 20 years, it will be 20 years, and he may be allowed to go after 14 years. If it is 2 years punishment, and the convict may be allowed to rejoin his family after 1.5 years, whatever it is, whatever the prison rules of the state government, which rules, because law and the prison are always the state rules, though the power may flow from the central, but the law and order situation is always handled by the state governments. Now, 433A is the restriction or powers of the remission. There are some matters where the punishment is up to life imprisonment. See, remission can be given only where punishment is not death. If punishment is death, of course, that person is going to be hanged, so he will not be given the remission. He cannot even apply for the same. But in case there is a offense which has been committed by him, and for which there is a death penalty or life imprisonment, in those cases there is a restriction under section 433A of CRPC, where he has to complete 14 years of his life imprisonment. Then only he can apply to the appropriate government, to the jail authorities, by making an application. Now, unless and until these 14 years are completed, he cannot apply for remission of the sentence. there is another section which also deals with the remission powers, that is 434. Now 434 is not a different than 432, except that one difference I would like to tell all of you here, that there are concurrent powers of the state government and central government. Both has the equal authority to consider for giving the remission to the convict. Now next is 435 CRPC. Here, there is an embargo on the state government's power. So, see, remission powers lies mostly with the state government, that is under section 432 CRPC. But there are some matters where central government employees are involved. He may have misappropriated, or there may be a possibility there's a suppose railway station we go and there is a riot, and this railway is governed by the central government. Now in railway, some property is damaged, then the central government permission will be required in such cases. Also, there is a late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi's case where the investigation was done by central agencies or Delhi police. Then there are some acts which says if there is central agencies are involved in a crime which they have investigated, they have filed the charge sheet. In those cases, there is an embargo. The state government, unless and until consult the central government, it cannot take away it cannot give the remission to the convict. So it is very important that we know all these sections before we go apply for remission of any of the convict which is with us, who is our client. Now there is no straitjacket formula of remission. It's not that just because he's of good behavior or he can be reintegrated society, he has a small children, the remission can be given. There are many factors, but the main conditions which I have reinforced here, which I can say here, is the one is of course the good behavior. Then he should have served the substantial part of the sentence. Suppose a substantial part does not mean that 50% or 25%. Normally, it is 2/3 or 70%. Whatever may be the punishment, the substantial part of it he must have served. And this also includes the parole and furlough leave. Now, parole and furlough leave, all of us know that parole is given in emergency and furlough leaves are given periodically after 6 months or 1 year, whatever the state rules are there. But in cases of these, when it is considered for permanent parole, that is remission. So remission is one kind of permanent parole. The character of the punishment is not changed. If it is life imprisonment, it is life imprisonment. And if it is for 20 years, 27, or for remainder of his life, and he was convicted of murder, and he has been given life imprisonment for remainder of his life, if after 14 years, his application is considered for remission, and when he's out on the parole, that is permanent parole, or we call it remission, after having the remission from the government, and he commits some kind of offense, he can be asked to complete that previous punishment. Also, that new case will go on for which he has committed the offense. So that is the main difference between commutation. Commutation is always a reduction. It may be life imprisonment committed to 10 years. It may be a death penalty committed to be life imprisonment. Now, there is also a possibility when the inmates are, convicts are in jail, they should not tamper with the jail bars, jail walls, some locks. They should not assault the jail inmates or their people who are staying with them. They should not fight there. They should not do any smuggling, and they should be disciplined, and they should not be charged of breaking any prison rules. These are the normal conditions throughout our country. Whenever there is an application is made for remission, these all conditions has to be fulfilled. Now, there are state policies of each state which may be different. But some state policy may come, some are in 92, some are in 98. In recently, circular came in 2018 in Maharashtra. So suppose a person is convicted in the year 2000. Now, retrospectively, can the policy of 2018 may be applied to him? Now, here is a very interesting judgment of the Supreme Court, State of Haryana versus Jagdish. Here it was said that any policy of remission which is beneficial to the current convict, who may have been convicted long back, about 2 decades ago. The liberal approach should be there. So this statement is this judgment is a landmark judgment, State of Haryana versus Jagdish, which says that liberal policies should be adopted by the state government, and while they want to give remission, they should consider with retrospective effect. The policy may be formed just 2 years back, and he may have been convicted in 98 or year 2000. That time this policy was not there. Still, he will be given this benefit, and then this is the most important feature of the remission, and also the I would say one of the highlight of this judgment. So this judgment is very important. Whenever you are applying for remission, State of Haryana versus Jagdish has to be referred. Now, why remissions are given? Remissions are always given that the convict who has no hope of coming back to the society, there is a possibility, see, once he was an offender, but he may have reformed, and there is a possibility the scenario may have changed. Now we have to, the gravity of the offense is also weighed. Sometimes there is a gravity, like in Rajiv Gandhi case, the gravity of the offense is so much that a diabolic act of killing a prime minister on the soil of the India is done. I would say that is the most diabolic act done by the killing of a prime minister of country. Now here there is no fear factor. So these, though Tamil Nadu government tried to do it, they wanted to release all the convicts, but the matter went to Supreme Court. Central government took the objection. We will discuss this also in the coming session. Now here, sometime remission is given because there is 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And it's not that there is a list ready that those who have completed so many years, they will be given. There is a list will be prepared by the jail authorities after considering the behavior and all the conditions which we discussed just now. Here, there is a possibility of the Independence Day. On that day also, there is a list which is some relief is allowed to some convicts, and mostly this relief is allowed to women offenders or transgenders, or some terminally ill people who are suffering from cancer or kidney ailments. Maybe they are physically handicapped, or maybe there somebody who's above, I won't call senior citizen only, it may be above 50 years, above 70 years, 80 years. They may not be considered just to, because their age is 60 or they are senior citizens. Now considering Tamil Nadu case, I would say on MGR birthday, he was a big he was also chief minister, also very big star, very popular figure in the Tamil Nadu. On his birthday, Tamil Nadu releases some of the convicts. So there is a good gesture by the government for some reason, which appropriate government does for their own reasons. Now, there is a case of Allahabad High Court. Here is of Jaini Singh. This Jaini Singh committed triple murder, and he was released after 5 years by the government, by the governor using the power. Now, when the governor used the power, it does not mean somebody, see, there is an embargo under section 433A, where we say that unless until a murder convict or somewhere an offense where there is a punishment up to life imprisonment, his case for remission cannot be considered unless he completes 14 years. Here in this case, Jaini Singh has just completed 5 years. And of course, on the face of it, it was a completely disgusting thing, and on Twitter, on social media, everybody was feeling, how could a person who has committed triple murder come out after just 5 years and government can release it? The matter went to the Allahabad High Court, and Allahabad High Court said this was a decision by the governor totally arbitrary and not fair in all respects, and it was set aside, and he was again taken into custody. So there are matters where the government cannot just decide. So these powers of the remission are interlinked. There can be a judicial review even if the government decides tomorrow that they want to favor one of the person, one of the convict in the jail. They cannot do so, and these powers are open for judicial review. That is the beauty of this, I would say, our country's legal system, where nothing is separated, though they are separated, executive powers as well as the judicial powers, but somewhere, even the parliament, all are interconnected. And the Jaini Singh's case says that anybody who cannot just take the benefit or favorable order just because he knows somebody in the government. So this was a very important case of Jainis Singh, that in all the cases it is not allowed. Now if we go to Rajiv Gandhi's assassination case. Now in 1991, when there was attack on him, terrorist attack, and after he was assassinated, what happened thereafter, that these all people were convicted, and there was one lady accused. I will take prominently the Nalini's case here, because she is the only woman who has served about 27 years of incarceration, और कैदीकरण हम जिसे कहते हैं कि वो कैदी की तरह रही जेल में. Her daughter is also married now. She was given parole only throughout 27 to now it is 28 years. Only twice she was given the parole. Now here she was not given any kind of leave. And what happens when she applied for the remission after so many years? The Tamil Nadu government tried to accepted the remission application and granted her, but the central government took objection and matter went to Supreme Court. Now here the embargo under section 435 CRP came into the rescue of the central government, that when Prime Minister was killed in such an act, which was a totally diabolic act, I would say disgusting thing. And now here the central government said, took objection, that this was clearly investigated by the CBI and the central agencies. This case was, because it was related to Prime Minister and he was in central government and ruling the complete country. So this kind of the state government has no power, and it was upheld by the Supreme Court. Thereafter, the position today is that Nalini is still inside the jail. Her remission application is pending before the governor today. CBI now has said that she has already served for 27 to 28 years. They said they have no role. Of course, they did not say openly that they have no objection, because the Prime Minister's life was taken away in this, I would say, terrorist act. But they have said they have no role in saying that in remission powers, and the governor can decide, but her application is still pending. Now, because of the procedural lapses, Nalini was not allowed to have the remission application to be accepted by the government of the Tamil Nadu. So this was very important case. In Nalini's case, it was total overhaul of the complete legal systems from the Tamil Nadu Madras High Court to the Supreme Court, and before all the governments, appropriate governments. This is also a case to be read while considering the remission applications. Now we move to another Bombay High Court judgment of Suresh Jagan Patil versus State. This is just a recent of 2021. Now here there was a writing of, also, and main offense was under section 302. Now he was tried for murder and he was given life imprisonment, and there was a family dispute. Now here, though he has served for total 20 years, and thereafter he applied for remission. When he applied for remission, his application was rejected. That the day his trial was concluded, the day when his offense was committed, the policy of the Maharashtra government was not there, that he will be given the remission. But looking at the judgment of the Supreme Court of the state of Haryana versus Jagdish, it was said that the policy which is liberal to him has to be discussed, has to be taken into account. He should be given the remission. Here, Suresh Patil was allowed, though, and the policy of the Maharashtra government said that at least for 22 months, 22 years, he should have served. Now here he has served for 20 years, and after parole and this parole and furlough leave, which was deducted, almost he has served more than 16 years. So his case was considered. So this was a recent case of Bombay High Court, which was very important. Now, remission is something which can be applied to a person who has committed an offense as small as death, or maybe a 498A, but rarely we as a community, legal community, we try to use it, because the main work is before the jail authorities, and if the jail authorities and government refuses, the only remedy lies to us is to go under Article 226 before the Honorable High Court of the respective state. And if it rejects, then of course Supreme Court under Article 136 by way of the special leave petition. Now here what happens that if we do not follow the state prison rules, we may not know, because CRPC, though very exhaustive, state prison rules will take the I would say first preference here, and whatever state prison rules, they have to be followed. There cannot be procedural lapses as in Nalini's case, and that unless and until we follow that, our applications cannot be considered. So I would like to tell all the lawyers here that whenever a person is convicted, so it's not an end of the light of hope for him that he can never come out. He can always come out once he serves the substantial part of the his punishment, which may be 70% or 2/3 as per the state policies. So we have to sometimes consider that what offense is committed, and if it is a family dispute, 90% time, 90% I would say, your application for remission is accepted by the government. And what more we can discuss is some Maharashtra prison rules also we can discuss. In Maharashtra prison rules, there was a circular in 2018 which said a substantial part, which is a very common factor in all these states. Also, she should not have committed any offense while she or he was in the jail. Jail also, there are some rules and there are some discipline which they have to follow. There is also a furlough and the parole leaves are given. And when they are given parole or furlough leave, they should not come parole given, and if it is given for 20 days and that person returns after 30 days, then it is not allowed, because he or she is not following the jail rules properly. So these factors are also taken consider as per the Maharashtra prison rules for remission. Then secondly, also, if while the convict returns from the parole or furlough leave, he or she should continue to work in jail for 3 months, then only it can apply. If she is not following the jail rules, or there is some indiscipline, there are some charges of breaking the jail rules. There are some jail rules of each state, and if they are not followed, then possibly their application for remission is not considered. So it is very important that all the person who wants to go for remission, they should follow all the rules, and they should put up their good behavior before the jail authorities. And even if thereafter jail authorities reject their application, the remedy is under Article 226 before the High Court. Now, one very interesting case, whenever a session judge gives, or any trial judge gives the punishment, there is a possibility, mostly you must have seen in rape case or murder trials, that for the remainder of the jail, for the remainder of his life, he should serve in jail. Now that does not never said that he cannot apply for remission. There is a Supreme Court judgment which says that the trial court cannot take away the remission power of the government. So it cannot overpower. It is empowered. The government is empowered completely to give remission to any of the convict, and even central government, state government, any unless there is a 435 embargo, it can be considered. So these are very important discussion for the remission. And if by this discussion, even if one person can be helped and he comes back to his family, then it's worth discussing this. Thank you everybody for attending today's session, and I'm open for questions now.